Now, what do we think about these pound for pound rankings right here? Number 1, Islam. Number 2, Pereira. Number 3, John Jones. Obviously, we heard the whole Dana White crying fit that he threw over some reporters that told him that John Jones wasn't above Pereira in the pound for pound rankings and he shouldn't be number 1, respectively. I think this is the right pound for pound ranking. Now, I saw some discussions about Islam and Alex who should be number 1. And at first, I was like, bro, it's definitely Islam. It's definitely Islam. I thought it was an obvious statement, like people were just arguing because it was like a little bit of the, recency bias. But when you look at it, Alex Pereira has the same amount of title defenses at light heavyweight than Islam, or maybe Islam has one more actually. Islam has 2 against Volks and 1 against Poirier, and Pereira has 2 now. So, but he does have 2 division championship, and it happened fairly recently as well. So there's definitely an argument for Pereira being number 1. I do like this pound for pound ranking that way though. To be honest, that's my thoughts. You can let me know what you guys think. This might be a 5-round absolute war. I'm sorry. A 5-round absolute war. DDP is at his all-time prime contender. Izzy had his long rest and on his redemption arc. I see no punches pulled. That's true. They're both at very great places in their career. Like Izzy, after a little time off, I think he's gonna come in refreshed. And DDP is also at an all-time high. Is the most confidence, the most amount of experience he's had as well. So he's gonna be prepared for this fight. So yeah, this is gonna be amazing. This is gonna be amazing. I do think Izzy gets it done though. If this fight plays out in the feet, and you look at other wrestlers or other grapplers that tried to fight Izzy, Whitaker is great grappler, usually uses more of his striking though, but Yoel Romero, who else? Marvin Vittori's a pretty decent grappler, and they couldn't really take him down. And if they can't take him down, I wonder if DDP is going to be able to be honest. But we'll see. Maybe he is. At the end of the day, sometimes I get confused because you look at most of Izzy's run, he hasn't been taken down by anybody. And then he fights Alex Pereira in the first fight, and he gets taken down by Alex Pereira at the end of the second round. Like, what am I watching here? So it's just depends, what type of Izzy comes in. But I think he's going to be aware that, DDP is probably going to try to mix it up, and it's going to make for a great fight. I do favor Izzy though. Jiri has started training with his hands up. Let me watch this. Was this after the fight?
For Elevate.
It's time for Elevate.
Let's go.
There's still sores on his hands. Right hand like this. Right hand like this. Jiri, your right hand. Put it Okay. I mean, it's moving up and down, but this dude is powerful. You can hear it on the woods. Pulse. I just don't think that style is going to be able to do anything, to great kickboxers like an Alex Pereira, and even guys that are more fundamentally well-rounded. It's too much of a wild style. It really reminds me of Tony Ferguson. You really just rely on toughness and agility and reflexes and stuff like that, but there's no fundamentally great, looks in this. Yeah, not looking good, Jiri. Go to Muay Thai classes or something. Learn the traditional striking aspects, so you learn the fundamentals, and then you can add in the extra movements that can work, but you should also just have that in the bag. Just rely. You could be able to rely on the fundamental striking weaponry as well. 6-foot DDP versus 6'4" Izzy. Now he did have some pretty big shoes, DDP. I'll tell you that much. But yeah, Izzy's more 6'3", and DDP's listed at 6'1.5" or something. So people make bigger thing than it is. Islam just cooked Chandler, or maybe Ali. Good old-fashioned passionate American Mizu wrestling beats Sambo all day. You are unreliable, dude. One tweet from your master and you'll run away. Champ needs real opponent. That is good. Saw some other tweets from RDA and Poirier. Chandler was getting cooked yesterday. Still yet to see an official poster for Namajunas versus Cortex. To my knowledge, it's actually Cortez, by the way, which takes place next weekend. So I decided to take it upon myself to make one. Did I cook? Wait, what is this? We should see the whole body of Tracy. I feel like that would be better. Engage more viewers, you know? View of Alex KOs in the immersive dome in LA. That looks fire. You know, you're just rich people in there, though. You know, there's just rich people in there, but that would be so fucking fire watching it from there. So fire. Why is Connor so obsessed about the happenings of Habib? Because he lost to him. And when you lose to somebody, you tend to like get obsessed with who they are and what they're doing. It's just how it is. You try to find wins in other areas, other ways you can. Crazy that this press conference had the two biggest multi-fight rivalries in UFC. That's true. We didn't know it back then, but this was two of the biggest rivalries in UFC history happening on the same night. That's kind of crazy. Yes, that's the RDA tweet I was looking for. How much is the opportunity to become a world champion worth? For some of us, there's no price on a UFC belt. Mine is certainly not for sale. Chandler should stop his "see you at the top" motivational speech. It's embarrassing. Cool story. See you at the top. I've been up there, buddy. Haven't seen you yet. Wow. That is some next level cooking right there. That is some cooking session. Rafael is definitely plus 100 aura with this tweet. John Jones confirms Poatan is a sorcerer. There's been a lot of talk about spirit channeling and magic in MMA lately. This stuff is all very real. Felt all types of weird energies walking into those arenas, looking certain opponents in the eyes. I want to let you all know that Jesus Christ is king. He is and always will be undefeated. Every knee shall bow. You know, I saw a post on Instagram with Alex face painting is actually the reason why he won in all those fights by KOs. Like the 4 fights he had where he had like brutal knockouts, he was face painting. I think it was the first Adesanya fight, first Jiri fight, the Jamal fight, and then the second Jiri fight. And then some other fights that he had, like against Jan Blachowicz, didn't have the face painting, and against Izzy the second time, he didn't have no face painting and he got knocked out. So maybe that's where it comes from, you know? I believe in that shit, you know? I believe in like spiritual channeling. Like I think that's a real thing. But I don't know enough to talk about it. But I think it's a possibility. UFC fighter says after he fought, they escort fighters out of the stadium unless they have a ticket. Yeah, that is bread scrum. What is that? Bread scrum. It's like, you know, the most greedy shit a company could ever do, bro. You mean to tell me I'm putting on a show for the fans, making you guys' money? I'm making this show. After I'm done, I can't just sit somewhere in a room, watch the fights. I have to... What? I saw this part. This is crazy.
Did you watch prayer or did you leave?
No, they kick you out.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
They don't even... I was like... They're like, do you have a ticket? And I was like, I just fought. And they're like, no exceptions, man. I was like, are you joking?
They legit walk you out of the building.
Yeah, they wouldn't let me back in.
Yeah, that's insane. That's fucking insane. UFCs are
golf
very greedy.
because I get to see my homies, hose them up, Aaron, the young guys. The nights that flame, you know, every day is hard grind. I try to get him to come.
I can understand you start playing golf.
I get weird.
I try to get him to come?
I try to get him to come.
I can understand you start playing golf.
I get weird looks, but I'm like, bro, take your shoes off. It'll feel nice too. And it's cool. He told me 2 years ago you're gonna love golf. What? It's stupid.
I'm glad you took up golf because, you know, that's a retirement sport.
That's good.
Say that again and I'll lick your lips, can.
That was amazing. You don't need to watch the press conference. That's all you needed to see. But DDP's fucking trash talk is so underrated, man. One of the best in UFC right now. So slick. So slick. Do these ever get old? Could it be that John Jones isn't the greatest pound-for-pound fighter on the planet? No, it's the UFC fans who are wrong, period. Yeah. Mentality of Dana White. He's stuck on something, you know. I think it's almost like too hard to accept that your mind has changed on something when you've been so firm on it, you know? the firmer you are on an opinion, the harder it is to backtrack your statements. So the fact that Dana White went so hard at this point is going to be practically impossible for him to retract those statements, which obviously are not true, but it is what it is. If you are coming into a fight and got hurt, you're not pound for pound anymore? No, you're not. He wasn't pound for pound before that, so it's just funny. It's very funny. MMA Guru fans are more delusional than any fighter's fan base. LMAO. Anyone else thinking UFC falling off? It is the only thing that UFC has still is Guru. Other than that, they care less and less about promoting fighters as they used to, and all the big stars left the sport. Imagine Guru stopped making videos and streaming. I think the UFC would lose a lot of fans. Nah, that's crazy. That is crazy. But I think there's some truth. But I think people would still watch. But he definitely makes the UFC more interesting. Like, that's 100% truth. Like, he makes storylines and dramas. He builds up some stuff for each pay-per-views. Like, that's true. The UFC should be thankful for MMA Guru because he's much better than a guy than like fucking Nina Drama or who else they hired, the Nelk boys. Like, they don't know shit about MMA, you know? He knows about MMA and makes it very interesting. So without it, it'd be a bit boring. But it wouldn't be falling off, though. That's crazy. You would think a fighter with good takedown defense and great striking will be an exciting fighter. And then we have this guy. Yeah. Well, he has good striking. Just good enough to outstrike, you know, but not good like Pereira good, like where you would see an insane knockout other than like him winning the title. I'll take that back. But, you know, most of the times he has the style to just outlast someone on the feet, outstrike someone on the feet without taking risk, you know. So he's a smart fighter. He wins fight the smart way, but it's definitely not the most entertaining. Yeah. This face-off was so long and awkward. The audio cutting out from the stream didn't help either. I don't think it was awkward. I think it was heated. I think it was great. I think it was like, it represented the drama of this fight. So I'm very hype and excited. I'm glad they did it. And I think this press conference is more so just like a little appetizer for what's about to come. They should, you know, probably do a little bit more of you know, some drama stuff between these two, like more like press conferences or one-on-one or, you know, whatever it is. Maybe some what I like they did back then was also some video calls. You know, if they can't do the one-on-one things, they can just have it like the Paulo Costa and Izzy stuff, or Vittori and Izzy. They also had Dominic Cruz and Marlon Vera at one point. They sat down and talked. I feel like that makes sense for this fight, and yeah, it would build up some good promotion. So yeah, very excited to watch this fight. I think Izzy gets it done, though. I do. I just think last time it was a bit of a fluke. I'm not even an Izzy fan. I just think when you look at his performance against Sean Strickland, it didn't look like himself. It really didn't. And if he comes, you know, pause. If he comes back like himself, I think he should get it done. He should.